Once in a blue moon, we have 2 full moons in the same sign, bringing your attention to something that is screaming at you to address. It's saying, look at me, I'm here, stop ignoring me, I want to be fixed. Hey Astro Babes, I'm Ashley of More Than Your Sun Astrology. In this video, we're going to find out why we're having 2 full moons in Capricorn and what it is that you need to look at and get excited about getting rid of. We're going to do this for all 12 signs. Before we start, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you can always be prepared of what to expect, because we know as above, so below. We have a full moon in Capricorn blooming Sunday, July 21st at the last degree of the sign, the 29th degree. This is pretty significant because exactly 1 month ago on June 21st, we also had a full moon in Capricorn, but it was at the 1st degree of the sign. First off, it's not typical to have 2 consecutive full moons in the same sign. Second off, it's not typical to have one at the 1st degree and the other at the last degree of the same sign. All these synchronicities taking place kind of shouts out that there's a story here. Right in the middle of these 2 full moons, we had a new moon in the zodiac sign of Cancer. So we're working on the Cancer-Capricorn axis. That's where we're going to see the story. Cancer and Capricorn are opposite signs, so they're directly related. This is the axis of legacy. Your legacy at home and how your friends and your family and the people who are close to you think about you versus how other people who don't know you so closely see you. People that we work with, people that we come in contact with that we don't build personal relationships with, even people watching you on social media. A really great example to think about this axis would be like a person in real life versus the person on social media. So I'm going to take my sister as an example. Sorry, sissy, I'm calling you out, but this is a good example. I know my sister as down to earth. She goes to work, she comes home, she spends time with her family, with my dad on most nights. They're watching movies and TV shows together. She works out a lot, but she's pretty chill. But if you were to look at her social media, that tells a completely different story. She posts a lot about different countries she travels to, different beaches she visits, and when she goes out with friends and families to like restaurants or bars and stuff like that. And so if I didn't know her that well and I was just on the outside looking in, my perception of her would be that she travels all the time. She's always in new countries, meeting new people, having the time of her life. She's so beautiful and fit and she looks amazing in a swimsuit. She can wear whatever she wants. Those things are true actually. But my point is that you don't see the grind. You don't see what goes on behind the scenes. And so her legacy of what she's known for publicly can be drastically different from what she's known for in her home. That is the axis of Cancer Capricorn. And these full moon illuminations are spotlighting both things. And Capricorn loves to compare. They love to compare their situation to everybody else's, and they like to identify status and constantly strive to level up. So it's very possible that during this time, you are comparing your situation to someone else's. Why don't I have the relationship they have? Why don't I have the career, the job? Even kids, sometimes I look at other people's kids like, damn, my kids don't act like that. I'm failing as a mother. And then you start spiraling down these negative rabbit holes. Give yourself some grace. We all are doing the best that we can. I have to remember to give myself some grace too. Being so hard on yourself, you know, for probably not even any reason. Just something to keep in mind and be aware of while we're dealing with all of this Capricorn energy. But getting back to the full moon, it's going to be easiest to identify what your story is when we look at this as a cycle. If we really want to, we can date this cycle back to June of 2023. So you might want to think back to what was happening then, and it's probably related in some form or fashion to what is going on now. But for the sake of time and not overwhelming anyone, we're just going to stick to this 4-week, 1-month window. Starting at the first Capricorn full moon 1 month ago on June 21st, there was something then that you started thinking about heavily. It was brought from your subconscious, out the back of your mind, up to your conscious awareness. And it was about you specifically. It was something within yourself. What you want in your life, what you want your life to look like, and you started thinking about why your life doesn't look the exact way you want it to. And that's when the confusion sunk in. Because on one side, you were able to identify the issue, but you didn't know exactly how to fix it. This was likely a karmic issue, an issue that you've been dealing with for a very long time, and it continues to come up. It's forever lingering in the back of your mind, even when you're acting like it's all good. It could even be something that's family karma. Maybe you were never taught how to be responsible with your finances. Your parents never talked to you about the importance of keeping your credit good, saving money, all the things. And now you're suffering from that, and you're worried about passing these bad habits along to your children. Or maybe you never seen a good, solid, committed relationship. The home that you grew up in wasn't that. But you want to be in relationship and you don't want to be alone. So you continue to make bad judgment calls for the sake of being in relationship. Well, around June 21st, you identified this about yourself. Kudos for you. Then 2 weeks later on July 5th, we had a new moon in Cancer, and something new sparked inside of you. You were getting tired of the way you do things, and you want to create better habits for yourself, better financial habits, better relationship habits. You want to create a better legacy for yourself. And you see the cycle, you're tired of it, you want to break it, but again, you don't entirely know how. And this is scary because it means something new. It means change, doing something different, getting out of your comfort zone. And it means taking a leap of faith, stepping out of this cycle that you've been stuck in for so long. You know what you need to let go of, who you need to get rid of. During the first full moon, you realized you had a karmic pattern. These aren't things that just sprouted up out of nowhere. You haven't just started being bad with money. That's been happening for a while now. This relationship that you're in isn't the first person who you shouldn't have been in a relationship with. It's probably multiple relationships if you go back through your history. So during the first full moon, you realized you had a karmic pattern. The new moon in Cancer called you to pay attention to it and commit to finding a new way to do it. Now, fast forward to this final full moon in Capricorn. This is serving as a reminder that if you truly want to get unstuck, get out of the same patterns and create new habits, then you got to do something different. The full moon on July 21st is bringing everything full circle. And now it's decision time. You got some choices to make. Now that you know what you know about yourself, how are you going to move forward? Are you going to ignore it? Or are you going to do something about it? Here's a question for you. Why do we do that with our mental and emotional concerns? When they come up to our awareness, why do we push them back down? You've emotionally identified a problem. If it was a physical problem, you'd be taking care of it. I bet if you had a huge wart growing out the side of your arm, you'd be addressing it. I bet you'd be like, oh shit, that needs to go. And you'd go and have it removed without thinking twice about it. So why are the mental and emotional problems that you recognize not as important? Why do you keep saying that you want to save money and create better financial habits, but you continue the same financial patterns? Why do you say that you want to get married and be a wife or be a husband, but you keep giving people your time who have no intention on providing you that? The first full moon pointed it out. This full moon is prompting a call to action. It's saying, let that shit go. Whatever karmic baggage you're carrying, this full moon is allowing you to put it down. But you have to be willing to let this story go and figure out how. In doing this, it's very important that you know it's okay to be fearful. It's okay to feel uneasy because that's what's going to allow you to move forward with a different story. New potentials are waiting for you, but first you have to fill the gap between where you are and where you want to be. If you're an Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, something came up for you around your home, family, foundations, and your reputation. What karmic cycles need to be broken around what you want versus what you give to others? Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising. You're learning a lot about yourself and how other people view you. There's probably something that needs to be addressed when it comes to your siblings, the things that you prioritize and how you see yourself expanding onto the world, not into the world, onto the world. Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising. You've got a lot of internal things happening under the surface that are coming up to your conscious awareness at this time. You might be really thinking about what your values are and how they align with what you're creating. You're really feeling that fearful aspect between being stuck and wanting to make a change. There's something familiar and comfortable about where you are, but you really feel deep down in your bones that things aren't going to continue the way they are. If you have financial stuff to address, you better do it sooner than later. And just a heads up, if you're hiding something, it's probably going to come out around this full moon. Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising. This is your cycle. All these illuminations are taking place within yourself and within your relationships. There's a battle going on about your past, where you're at now, and how that's going to shape your future. You have to let it go. The thoughts, the old stories, the fear, you're kind of standing in your own way and holding your own situation back. Change can be good. Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising. There is something coming up about your daily habits and the current routines and cycles that you're stuck in. You're being urged to do stuff differently when it comes to your health, your physical body, how you tend to your home, your schedules. What are the things you put the most effort toward? Are those things helping you create the future you envision? Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising. You are being called to figure out how to bring more joy into your life. Children keep popping into my mind. How can you have fun with your children? Or even how can you create more joy just in your romantic life? The things that you find pleasure in. Yes, sex is up there. Virgo, you need to have more sex. You have hopes and dreams for what you want to be experiencing. At some point, you're going to have to let go of all the details so that you can see the bigger picture. And it may be helpful for you to get out of your immediate environment and branch out into your community, explore some new things. Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising. Home, work, home. Something's going down at home, but you might be focusing on work, or vice versa. You don't really know where to focus your attention. But there's something coming to your conscious awareness about your family dynamic. How much time and effort are you exerting at home? Are you putting more out into the public than you are into your own home? Maybe there's some boundaries that need to be set around how much time you give and how you show up for members outside of the home versus what you're putting back into your core foundation. There's something that you need to reassess. You know what it is, you're already in the process of reassessing it, so now it's just taking action to actually flip the script and change it up a bit. Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising. Something's always going on with you, and you're always being challenged to update. It's just the life of Scorpio. But lately, things have been going, dare I say, pretty well. This cycle for you is about getting you back into your community and absorbing information, learning something new about what you need to shed so that you continue to grow in a positive direction. There might also be some karmic ties related to your siblings that you need to address. Maybe some shit happened when you were a kid that you need to let go of. You might not even realize how that's still impacting you today. It's likely that you've been more busy lately, so just don't let that distract you from doing the work that needs to be done within. Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising. Values, finances, and your relationship with both. You've been tested recently, and I don't know if you passed. I know you're thinking about it. I know you know what this cycle is about, but instead of taking action on addressing it, you might instead be caught up in this cycle of replaying it over and over, considering different outcomes that are more positive than the actual reality of the situation. You're kind of stuck in this loop of disassociating yourself from the reality of it. But whatever it is that you're dealing with is not going to go away. The uneasiness is not going to get more easy. Some right decision is not going to just suddenly present itself that makes the work you have to do any easier. You have to do the work if you want to spark change. There's something that's being associated with uncovering a devalue of yourself. Like there's some way that you've been devaluing yourself, settling. In some way, the person who you say you are, the person you think you are, or you'd like to perceive you are, may not be true. Like think about, do your actions support that? And if not, then you might need to reevaluate how you're living out the values that you believe. Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising. Similar to Cancer, this is your cycle. Lots of stuff is coming up for you about yourself, your family, your relationships, and your role in supporting all those things financially on the material plane, your legacy within it all. You have a lot on your shoulders right now, Capricorn. You, more than anyone, are being called to do some karmic work. Break old cycles. Create new traditions. It's okay to use other people's situations as inspiration, but it's not okay when you start putting yourself down. This cycle has brought a lot of things to your conscious awareness about how you want to change and do things differently and do them better in a way that's more aligned with where you are now. So take baby steps, one thing at a time. Rome wasn't built in a day. And I know you're so ambitious and you're also realistic. So have those realistic expectations on yourself. Baby steps forward are still steps forward. Aquarius, sun, moon, rising. If Leo was being called to focus on their physical routines, you're being called to focus on your spiritual routines. Your work is just beginning. There are some layers within you that you're gonna need to pull back. Something came to your conscious awareness and you were that person that pushed it back down. But then it came up again, and this time you said something. You did something. This is your work. Quietly identifying what needs to be said and sitting with yourself to assess the stuff you detach from. Acknowledging how what you do or don't do shapes the people around you. Thinking about your legacy is prompting you to consider the relationships you currently have versus the relationships you want to have and aspire to have. So what habits can you let go of that are hindering your relationship, and what new routines can you begin? I hope that resonates. Pisces, sun, moon, rising. You've really been given the opportunity to show up. You may have taken on some new roles within your community, or you're really just being there for your friends. Something's changed about how you inspire the people around you, and you found a new sense of freedom and joy around offering support to other people. Now, Pisces, it's very important for you to be aware of your boundaries as you're kind of finding a new purpose. It's great to show up for others, but don't forget about self-nourishment, your rest, recharging your batteries, fueling yourself. It's also likely that your mindset is changing around your kids if you have kids. You've been awakened to a new way of teaching them. There's some old cycles around your kids that are wrapping up. You're now figuring out a new way to show them structure and responsibility. And by you showing them, you're also stepping that up in a way for yourself, while also learning that you can do that through creating joy and doing something that brings everyone fun. That's your forecast on what to expect for the second full moon in Capricorn, lighting up the sky Sunday, July 21st. Please, please, please comment and let me know if anything we talked about resonated, or if you have a story to share about how you're seeing this cycle show up for you. I will read and respond to all comments. Please don't leave without hitting that subscribe button. And if you'd like to book a personal reading so that we can dive into your specific story, you can do so at my website, mtysastrology.com. While you're there, don't forget to pick up a copy of my free ebook, Everyday Guide to Parenting Children by Their Moon Sign, because we know, as above, so below. I'll see you next time.